Alright, mystery writers, welcome to Write a Killer Mystery. And today I want to talk about dialogue and introduce 2 tips to help you create dialogue that sounds natural and works in your story and works in every scene. Alright, Write a Killer Mystery is where we learn to make a good mystery great. My name is Zara Altair, and first I want to thank my supporters on Patreon for their continued support of this series. And if you are learning and enjoying from Write a Killer Mystery, I'd love to have you join us where we have special videos and other treats just for patrons. The link is in the description below if you'd like to join us. All right. So dialogue is action with words. And I know I've said this before, and I think it's very important to think about it as action, and that keeps it from that big dialogue mystique and everybody clamps up about dialogue. Because action is simply something your character does, and dialogue is action with words. Your character speaks, they convey intent, and another character responds with their intent. And dialogue represents a conversation between or among characters. So today's 2 dialogue tips will help you master your character's speech, their action in that scene. So many authors struggle with how to write dialogue. Sometimes it feels unreal, sometimes it feels repetitive, characters speak the same way, they don't know when to add dialogue tags, and they don't know how to differentiate between characters speaking. And these 2 tips today are going to help you with that. Writing dialogue is integral to storytelling, and you don't need to be intimidated by writing dialogue when you know your characters and understand the purpose of a scene. And there are several reasons to include dialogue in your story. So let's look first at why dialogue is important to your story. Dialogue feels real to your reader. They really empathize with your characters speaking. And people talk to each other in real life all the time. And so your characters are presenting the real life of your story. And so dialogue adds that verisimilitude to your story. So let's look at a few ways that dialogue contributes. It adds that sense of real life, and it shows your character's emotions. It expresses character intention. It illustrates character motivation. It demonstrates how characters respond to other characters. And it shows rather than tells character action. And it also speeds up your story. Dialogue is easy to read. Your reader just goes down the page as your characters are speaking. So use dialogue to eliminate the need for long narrative passages and bring your reader directly into that story action. So let's talk about these 2 ways to really hone in on the dialogue of your characters. First, you want to give your characters their own words. You start with the character, and you think of phrases your character uses regularly. Maybe they say okay a lot, or darn tootin', or catch you later. It doesn't matter what the phrase is, but you can tie the phrase to your character so your reader knows right away who's speaking. the famous line, make an offer he can't refuse. You know exactly what character is speaking. All right, so give each of your characters a catchphrase, just a little something that pops into their dialogue that helps your reader connect with that character. It helps your reader identify who's speaking, and so add those catchphrases to your character background in your character Bible. Just go through your character list and add a phrase, a word, um, some little phrase that your character uses for each of your characters, and that'll help differentiate who's speaking. Um, you actually do this in the same way that you relate specific body movements to a character, like waving their hands in the air while they speak, um, or stumbling around. They don't walk very forcefully, or striding like they own the world. Each of those is like a clue for your reader to understand how this character operates. So those catchphrases do the exact same thing while that character is speaking. Um, so the readers associate the physical attributes with the character, and your character's words and phrases will be recognizable whenever they speak. It's like shorthand for your reader, okay? And then, so that's one main way that I really encourage you to do, is to go in and to your character Bible, your character background, however you do it, and give each character words and phrases that are unique to them in your story. And then let's talk about approaching dialogue in the scene. As you approach your scene, think of the main character's goal and the obstacle and the outcome for the scene. All right, this is pretty standard scene construction, right? And when you think of dialogue as action, plan how each character functions in the scene. And more importantly, plan how what the character says moves the scene and the story forward. Dialogue is part of that character's action, and what they say can help your detective protagonist see a problem in a new way, present a new problem your sleuth has overlooked, etc. Dialogue is going to prompt your protagonist. All right? And this dialogue works for setup within the scene. Here's the beginning, middle, and end to each scene, right? And you end up with the scene's main character changing their emotions from the beginning to the end. So during the scene conflict, this is where we start to see that change happen. Your characters will speak at odds. They're going to be at odds. So conflict is the perfect place to put in subtext where the character says one thing and they mean another, or a character will go outside of their ordinary language pattern, which you've already shown the reader how they normally speak, and all of a sudden in conflict, their language pattern changes, and this is just how real people respond to conflict as well. So you'll add tension because your reader understands how this character acts, speaks normally. And at the end of the scene, a character can state the changed emotion from the scene beginning. And once again, you raise the tension as the reader wonders what will happen next. And you are pointing the reader toward that next scene. So let your characters guide the dialogue. As your reader learns the speech patterns of each character, they will follow the dialogue saving you adding dialogue, multiple dialogue tags. You want to space out the tags every 5 paragraphs or so. And if you are really distinguishing the speech patterns of each character, your your reader won't even need those dialogue tags. So how the characters speak and the actions accompanying their speech help the reader understand the character. When their speech changes, you alert your reader to conflict moments in the scene. And the time you spend creating characters, individual words, and phrase backgrounds will help you write dialogue that fits the character, shows their emotion at the moment, and creates tension in the scene. So let your characters guide the dialogue when you're writing. All right, I hope those 2 tips help you think about dialogue as not being so outside and unapproachable. It comes from your characters, and it comes from how your characters act in the scene. Okay, I just want to remind everyone that Audible is a sponsor for Write a Killer Mystery. And if you haven't experienced listening to stories on Audible, you can click the link below and get a free 30-day trial of Audible. It's so much fun. It's just so much fun. I enjoy it immensely, and I encourage you to give it a try. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Keep writing, and I'll see you next time.